Disclaimer before I start this video: if you are unable to hear any kind of stories or news on cancer, depression and such that it triggers you about hearing those stories, please skip to the end to hear what I am and why I'm doing this. But I do want to point out the most important thing. I am not doing this to get attention for myself. I'm not trying to get pity. I'm not trying to overshadow other people's problems. I'm trying to explain who I am, what I am, and how I have to live with it. I do want to say that before I get into the sub story, I did have a great life. I had a caring mother that has fought her entire life to get her children to school, to give them what they need to get to the point where I am right now. My father left my mother at the age of 3 when I was 3. So I never had really a father figure in my life, and it never really impacted me. I also never really asked about it. I was curious about it, but never really pushed through. But it doesn't mean that my life has not been a roller coaster. I've had some good and bad experience, like everyone else has. It's a growing phase, right? But a growing phase becomes hell when you have to face with a dilemma that you really don't expect to happen, because you simply don't get it. You simply don't know how to process it. And that happened to me. For 2 years, I was struggling with coughing, with suffocating, with extended being tired. And I could not find the cause about that. I went to doctors that only waved me away, saying it was a cold, it was the flu, it was just a cough, nothing else. Until in 2016, November, I got a replacement doctor that was like an intern, because, well, doesn't matter. But she followed procedure. She said she could not find anything. She said it was not the flu, it was not a cough, it was not a cold. So she sent me towards a doctor that checks my lungs. And there the conclusion comes out that my lung capacity is about the same as someone that is 86, which is weird because I was at that time 25. They sent me towards the hospital for a security x-ray. Both that same doctor and I say that it was only x-ray for 5 minutes, and then you get out and we look beyond that. It did not become an x-ray for 5 minutes. It became an x-ray for about 1 to 2 hours. Because when I did the x-ray, I was sent outside. I was waiting until the specialist came outside, walked to me calmly but nervously, and then the magical words came out of him: "Could you, Mister, could you walk with me? The lung doctor wants to see you." Those 5 minutes that I walked from the X-ray department towards the lung doctor was the longest time I ever did. Oh crap, I'm stopping up already. Because shit is going to hit the fan badly, that if you have to be sent towards a specialist like a lung doctor. And he told me that there was an extraordinary big area of a bubble in both my lungs that should not be there. I proceeded with the investigation. They found I had to do a puncture to my heart because that was the cause of my being tired. I had to. I had about what happened is that the cancer that they found in my body, in my lungs, was making infective cells that they could not get away, pretty much. So it tried to pump it away, and it got into my heart, and my heart could not do anything about it as well. So it got into my heart sac, and it kept saving all the fluids. And in the end, I'm not going to give you the details. They pulled out about 1 liter of fluid out of my heart. That's why I needed the puncture. Because the heart doctor in the cardiology told me that if I did not remove this fluid from me, I would have died from a heart attack with less than 2 months. That was the first impact that I had. They had to presume, if they had to continue with the procedure, I had to endure the lung puncture to see what kind of cancer I had, and a bone puncture to identify what stadium I was at with my cancer. The conclusion came in February, give or take, about what it was, and it was I was lucky that it was not lung cancer, but it was Hodgkin. Hodgkin is very good to be treated, doable, and if it was lung cancer, you need to realize I had an object of 12 centimeters in my left lung and 3 centimeters in my right lung. That was Hodgkin. If that was lung cancer, it was pretty much end game for me. That's a sore and bitter realization you have to swallow at that moment. They rushed me into chemo. I asked them to do the heaviest they could give me, because at that time I was also doing my exam year for internship, and I have to clear up. I was not 25. I was around 28 actually when this all happened. Calculations, not my best suit. But anyway, I'm drifting off. I asked them to rush it because I wanted to go to the university. That was my goal. I wanted to do this. However, it took a toll on my body. I had to get chemo, the heaviest sort. They pumped about 5.2 liters of camo into me every Tuesday. 1 week camo, 1 week rest, and so on. Until it was gone. Or so you hoped. In July, I got in April, I got the news that the camo was working. 75% was gone, and I would be done in July, and I was done in July, full and final camo. In August, I was declared clean. But in that whole process is traumatic. At the first time in January, I did not really realize why I had to get a dietist, a psychology person, and 3 other people to be with me on this journey, because I did not understand the impact of what cancer has on you, what cancer has on every single person. I declined psychology because I'm stubborn, a good Dutch bastard. But in January, I had such a meltdown, such panic attacks, because you have to realize my back then girlfriend broke up with me. She left me for another man in that same progress. I was not even in the first CT scan, and she already announced me that she was going to leave me. I lost lots of friends. About, if I have to put a number to it, 80% left me because I had this. And the biggest problem I had of all is seeing my mother suffer in it all. She did not show one tear in front of me, but I know she was crying every single night because she saw her son suffer so badly. They were all the camo and camo was doing, and everything that happened around me. So in January, I had suicidal thoughts. It scared the crap out of me. I am ashamed to say that I always was angry of people that was jumping before trains, jumping off apartment complexes, because I did not understand how they felt. And after that experience, I was like ashamed of myself that I even thought that I was angry at them. That moment that you trying to walk over the street and every single thought pierced through you, that if that bus drives even a bit harder, would it break my neck? Or stuff like that. Or jumping before a train. It scares the crap out of you. And at that moment, I sought help for the first time in my whole life, and did what's supposed to be happening. And I have to admit, I'm glad that I did, because I was on the verge of being gone. Being clear doesn't mean being clean. Sorry, doesn't mean that I'm cured. It's still 7% that I can get it back. It has also 45% chance that I can get a different cancer because I don't have an immune system right now because of the chemo destroyed my immune system. I swallow every day pills to get my immune system back and get back to health. It takes a long time. Can I assure you that? Through these days, I did rehabilitation in 2018 between January and July, and now 2020 is that the impact of COVID has more impact on you than you suspect. You need to realize that an isolated society for someone with depression, sleeping problems, and such, it's difficult. It's difficult to reach out, and I'm very introverted, so it's difficult to talk about. I am barely opening up to anyone, so this is really an eye-opener. Sorry. Yeah. COVID has had the dark hours for me because over time I could not get back into society. I more got isolated from society, and I felt more alone than I think I could be. Even thought I knew I could talk to people. Talking to someone on the phone, talking to someone on chat is different than talking to someone right into the face. That's the main thing I learned from all this. And then in August, well, more things happened to me that had an impact on my depression, but I'm not going to dedicate a whole story or video about my life. But I had to deal with a lot of toxic in my life regarding my hobbies and stuff like that, so it happens. One of those eye openers was the time that I gave streaming another shot. I met some wonderful people in the VTubers community. I even became a VTuber myself. I don't regret anything about that. I've made some wonderful friends. Friends I just cannot realize anymore living without them because they mean the world to me. And that is what the impact is for streaming, for a streamer side. People that are joining into your stream to chat with you, to join you with the fun, to be with you and support you, sharing your love with each other. That is why I am going to join Kawaii Mew Mew with her charity for mental health. My cat is making noises. For the charity that is going to happen soon on Saturday and Sunday. I have to look when I'm doing it myself, most likely around that time because I'm also in my exam period. So, but I'm guaranteed going to support this charity stream. More details about that will be announced on Twitter. And yeah, I want to thank you all for listening to my Subsub story. I hope to see you all at the donation, and remember, if you cannot donate any money because you don't have the money for it, you are saving up for something, that's totally fine. $1, €1 is fine. But if you cannot spare it, what you can do is spread the word. Spread the word that we are doing a charity stream. Because we are trying to help people with mental problems, which is very important. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me.